very serious. This is something out of Volusia County, Florida, that I was not aware of, and you say just bring it to you and then let you go. Fill me in. What is going on here?
2 years ago, Devin Perkins, a 22-year-old in Volusia, Florida, was driving home from a night out with his girlfriend and two friends on Florida State Road 44, I believe it was. And he's driving home, and the police start getting calls from other drivers. This is a very dark road, right? There's not a lot of lights on it. Police start getting calls from other drivers that there's a guy going the wrong way with his lights off on that road. And so, Devin's driving his friends home. Two people call the cops to report this wrong way driver. Between the first call and what I'm about to tell you, there were 8 minutes. So they had 8 minutes to get somebody out on scene to stop this tragedy from happening. However, Devin was driving his way. This guy's coming at him with no lights on the wrong side of the road, hits Devin's car, instantly kills Devin's girlfriend and two of the other passengers in the
Horrific.
car. Devin survives, barely. He's airlifted to a trauma center. The guy driving the Tacoma that slammed into them had a passenger as well. She's severely injured. He gets out of the car and flees on foot. His name is Tom Petrie.
Wow.
He leaves the scene, completely leaves the scene. The day after, he goes to the hospital to get treatment and he lawyers up, goes to the hospital to get treatment and refuses to take, toxicology or blood tests for his blood to check whether or not he was intoxicated. Devin's recovering, mourning the loss of his friends and girlfriend.
Yeah.
And in April of 2023, if I'm not mistaken, 2023, the police arrest Tom Petrie, the driver of the Tacoma.
Okay.
And they also arrest Devin, who was driving the car that was hit by the drunk driver. He was drunk. The guy.
Let me
I was
just
going to
stop
get
you.
there.
No, I know you will, but I want to make sure people watching and listening understand. Devin, as far as you know in this story, is just driving down the road.
Yes.
And there's another car. We don't know the status of the guy in the other car. You'll get to that. But the lights are off, and he's going the wrong way, and there's a head-on collision.
Yes.
And you're telling me that Devin also was arrested. I'm confused. Go ahead.
Devin was arrested, and when he was at the hospital, now he was arrested in April of the next year, not then, right? Both of them are arrested the same day.
For this accident?
For this accident,
okay.
Yes. He gets his blood drawn at the hospital while they're treating him to test him to see if he was drunk or intoxicated or under the influence. No, he was not. He had in his system, he had 0.2 on the blood alcohol level. And he had a small amount of THC in his system from goodness knows when it could have been. Like it was
I'm just going to correct you just a little bit because 0.2 is way over the limit. 0.02 is what he had been. Right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm so sorry. 0.02.
No, it's all right.
0.02, which isn't even.
That's nothing.
It's not even. Yes.
It's 1/4 of where you would have to be for the legal limit, which is 0.08. Go ahead.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. So he was not intoxicated.
Right.
However, they did allege that he was speeding at the time of the crash. When they charged him, they said he was driving 99 in a 65.
How could they have known that?
Well, that's exactly
they can't.
Correct. How could they have known that? The recorder in the car was damaged. When they towed the car, they didn't put it in a secure lot. It was open. People could have gone out there. The worst thing about this story, before we get into more details, which there are aplenty, is that not only did they charge him with the murder of 3 of his friends in that car that night when he was just driving them home after not even consuming a drop of alcohol, but the jury took 20 minutes to convict him.
Of what? Did the other guy get convicted of something?
He pled no contest.
I don't understand why Devin's in trouble. What did he do wrong that night that caused it?
Nothing. That's the thing. The police are like, well, he sped. And so because he was speeding, he contributed to the accident. But there's dispute about the speeding. Not only is there a dispute about the speeding, but the trial, the way it was handled was such a cluster, Joe. It's not even funny. So the judge barred the state from bringing in the toxicology report about the THC in his system because it was inapplicable to what was
Right.
going on,
Right.
right? They were barred from using it. Well, somehow throughout the questioning, Devin's own attorney brought that in to the case by asking a question about it. And
Why? Why?
that's exactly the question how could you be so right now he has a petition in front of the judge for a new trial because of, what's it called? How when your counsel is just not it's
Well, it's
not in
incompetent.
my brain right. Incompetent,
Yeah,
yes.
right. So
Oh,
he's got
whatever.
he's going to say that his counsel was incompetent, therefore he deserves a new trial, which actually sounds
Yes.
like it makes sense if he enters evidence that wasn't going to be entered. But let me go back to the actual scene of the crime that night. I mean,
Mm.
there is a legal mechanism called but for this guy driving with his lights off, but for this guy being in whatever condition he was in, but for this guy being in the wrong lane or whatever he was, according to the information that I just heard from you, none of this
Yeah,
would have happened. How is Devin on the
correct.
hook for anything?
That's exactly the question Devin's mom, who I interviewed at length on
Yeah.
Wednesday, is asking. She is beside herself. Just to give you an idea, the jury deliberated on this case for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. The jury instructions were 24 pages long.
Wow.
It is just a miscarriage of justice all around. They didn't have experts. The council didn't recommend experts to bring in to talk about anything with the car, the recorder that was damaged. The police, when they wrote the initial report, when they were arresting him, the charging documents and stuff, they mentioned the fact that that his blood alcohol level reflected that he had been drinking, but that wasn't the case at all. He hadn't been drinking. Like clearly they never charged him with drinking and driving, Joe, because they couldn't, right? But they
Wow.
referenced that in the report. This entire case is mind-blowing to me that this poor kid. Now the families of the other victims.
But before you give me the families of the other victims, it's Tracy Beanz. Go to TracyBeanz. There is a great thread over on her X right now that shows all of this. Go to Tracy Beanz on X and go read through it. 3.3 million views in a couple of days. Great job on this. The question that's jumping, and I want to hear about the victims' families, but the question that jumps out at me is the other guy, does he have status? Is there something about this guy that we haven't heard yet? There is, isn't
You'd
there?
think no, and that's the thing.
Really?
I can't find anything.
Not that it
The
would make
case
it
was
right, but there's something stinks here.
well, my personal perspective on what stinks here is a little different than most people's. And
Okay, go ahead.
I think personally, from what I've heard from, just asking questions and poking around, one of the victims that didn't really know Devin all that well, her dad was a prosecutor in Pennsylvania and also is a civil defense attorney now, and stepped up to try on the civil side to represent Devin as counsel.
Oh.
And there are too many things with this guy that don't make sense. Like, he was the one who called Devin's mom and dad and told them that he was going to be arrested. The
What?
police didn't contact Devin's mom and dad. They contacted this attorney. So I have this weird feeling, it's just speculative, that this dad is out for blood because his daughter is no longer here. And
But again, I mean,
somehow,
well, Tracy, when I go to your page, and I know I'm jumping in, but you've got my inquisitive, senses going here. When I look at the
yeah,
page, it says 2:03 a.m. first call made to 911 to report wrong way driver. So
yeah,
the facts are the facts. We know the guy didn't have his lights on, right?
correct,
We know that he was driving the wrong way on the highway, right?
correct.
What am I missing? I've covered crime and news and car accidents and sadness and death for 35 years. I'm missing something, right?
No, nope. You're not missing anything. And they know that the driver Petri of that Tacoma was drunk because they have video of him being cut off from drinking at the bar he was at before he got in the
Wow.
car to drive. So
So where are we now? Is he behind bars? Is Devin behind bars?
yes, he's being
Wow.
held right now behind bars as he awaits this decision by the judge. Also, the Tacoma driver is now trying to withdraw his plea and go to trial, probably because he's like, this guy got convicted for it. What are the chances that I can finagle this somehow. And the worst thing about it is,
Wow.
if I'm not mistaken, Joe, because he pled no contest, they couldn't really bring much of anything from him into this new case because he didn't admit to guilt, quote. So it was almost as though, Devin's case had to be tried as though Devin ran into a brick wall and not that somebody driving the wrong way on the highway at
What was he
night.
actually convicted of?
It's in the
Was it
thread there.
vehicular homicide? Was it, I mean,
Yes. Yes.
because I don't think it
Three
was
counts.
murder,
He's
right?
facing 30. Yes. Well, yes, vehicular homicide. 30 years to life in prison right now, this young man. He's 24 years old. He's
And
24 years
again,
old.
not drunk, not
Not,
impaired, was going the
nope.
right way. They say he was speeding. They have no proof of that. And this is a wrong way driver, no lights on, video showing he was drinking at the bar. I'm confused. There's got to be something here
No.
that we're not getting. This is why you've got so many views on it. A, you're an incredible reporter, incredible person. B, people
It's
want
incredible.
resolution. They don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yes.
So how can you help me understand this? Because I
I
mean, the next
can't.
time, if he gets a retrial, then maybe justice can happen. I mean, does he go up to the next level? Does he go to the Supreme? Does he keep on appealing to the Supreme Court of Florida? Does he try to get a pardon from DeSantis? Where are we on this?
Yeah, that's the logical next few steps of this. There's two more things I want to make sure I tell you. And
Go ahead.
also, I never usually do this, but I interviewed his mother for about an hour and 15 minutes the other day, and it's on my Rumble channel and it's on my pin to the top of my X right now. It was,
Go.
and
Yeah.
listen to that interview. It's something else. Two things. He was charged with speeding 99 miles per hour, EDR, 5 seconds before impact, 3 counts of vehicular homicide, 1 count of reckless driving with serious bodily injury for the woman in the car that was driving the wrong way on the road. Then they didn't charge Tom Petrie with any of the injuries to Devin or fleeing the scene on Devin. So, in other words, he's actually a victim who's living, who is not getting justice from the man who actually committed this crime.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling.
What is the big city in Volusia County, Florida? I've been through Volusia County, but I can't remember the big city. Is there one?
There's DeLand.
Oh, is it DeLand? Is that where that is?
There's New Smyrna Beach.
I'm asking, and I'm going to say this just as dumb as it sounds. Is it sort of a backwoods place that doesn't quite get it? Because I'm not understanding. A bigger city, at least you would have people who understand the idiosyncrasies of a case like this. It sounds like my cousin Vinny.
I
You know?
I'm speechless over it. I really am. And I don't understand how this could happen in our country. It's so terrible. And when Devin's mom and I spoke, her name's Victoria again, she said, I said to the prosecutors, why aren't you charging Tom Petrie with my son's injuries? Why aren't you charging him? And she told me that the guy looked at her and said, do better.
Do better?
Do better. And this is a close-knit group of friends. Most of them were.
Yeah.
And she told me that Devin wanted to go visit with the family of one of his now deceased friends. And they had to get permission from the judge for him to be able to travel there while he was awaiting all of this to settle out. Oh yeah, by the way, when they arrested him, they held him on $1 million bond, 0 priors, no criminal record whatsoever. Isn't this the weirdest thing?
And how long
ever
after the
heard?
accident was the arrest again?
4 months.
So for 4 months, he was fine. Now it's $1 million bond?
Yeah, and
They like made him the ogre of the world. I don't understand.
Yes.
The other guy leaves the scene of the accident, wrong way in the highway, lights weren't on, and we have video of him drinking all night, and he might get off scot-free.
they paraded Devin into court shackled.
How
And
old is
let
this guy? How old is Devin?
Devin, the young boy, he's 24.
Wow.
24 years old.
Now,
looking
the
at
family
30
of his girlfriend who's deceased, the other families, are they generally speaking on his side? Although
Yes.
you talked about the one father used to be a prosecutor somewhere, maybe he's doing something different, but the others, they're all on his side.
Yeah, and they're very, very vocal about this as well. They don't want to see this happen. I mean, how many times can you victimize people over? He's already dealing with the loss of his friends in this terrible circumstance. Now he's looking at 30 years to life in prison for someone who got into the behind the wheel of a car, intoxicated, and didn't even put their lights on and drove the wrong way down a highway. It's a 4-lane highway with a median split.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's not like it was a 2-lane highway, although it's still bad enough to be in the wrong lane, but that you can almost understand. But I mean, holy mackerel. Now, I'm starting to think about the bar where the guy was drinking. I'm guessing they weren't very cooperative because in Florida, there may or may not be a law that says you could be on the hook if you let somebody leave in that condition.
I don't know the particulars of that, but there's videotape from the bar in evidence. So I'm assuming that they had to have been a little bit cooperative about it.
Well, no, I mean, you can
they
subpoena
cut him
that.
off.
You can subpoena that. Even if they weren't cooperative, you can still get it if they had it. But
Well,
I mean,
they cut
I would
him
like to
off,
know about that
though.
as well. Oh, they did cut him off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tracy, I'm confused. I realize that there are bad judgments sometimes, bad verdicts sometimes, but this seems, and I trust your reporting implicitly. So I'm not sure I understand what we're missing, and I keep saying, what are we missing? And you keep saying we're not missing anything. The next step for this guy is the appeals court says yes or no to having a new trial?
It's the judge in the case currently that will say yes.
The
or no
same
to
judge?
that. Yeah.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
going to have to go above this judge because the judge could have thrown it out earlier.
I think that we are going to need to make noise about this. I can't
We just
sleep
did.
with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no matter what happens, I mean, the only good outcome for this is innocent. You're innocent and walk free. So,
I got you.
Yeah.
It's Tracy Beanz. Go to TracyBeanz on X. Go and follow her right now. Got a huge following. She's an incredible reporter. An amazing thread. Again, over 3 million views so far in a couple of days. Great job with this. Keep me updated on this, would you?
I will. If you want details and documents, go to savedevon.com.
Okay. Got to run. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and we'll talk soon, Tracy.
Bye-bye.
We're back after this. Stay right here.